Hi guys, this is Shom. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to share with you guys a very dark experience I've had, and at the time when I was going through that experience, I did not know what it was. I am still not sure if it is what I think it is. I'm talking about the dark night of the soul. I'm talking about the death of the ego. It's like a passage that I had gone through, and it was very recent. It was about a couple of months back. And this video is going to be long. So if you want to stick around and listen to my story of transformation, how I went into that passage of darkness, what happened in that tunnel, how I got out of it, and how my old identity was murdered in that tunnel, and I came out as this new person, completely new person. And when I look back, I don't recognize who that person was. And I want to share that with you, this entire transformation that has happened. So, to begin with, I have been always a seeker of truth. I always wanted to find God. Like, even as a child, I remember, and this is a very vivid memory, when I tried to test God once in my life, only once. I was in year 8 and I was studying physics. And there was this chapter. I was in my worship room, in my prayer room at the time, just me. And I was studying this subject, and this chapter said that this is how earth was formed and God does not exist. And I have always been a very strong believer, a very, very strong believer. And my life shook reading that God does not exist. I just could not take it. And tears started flowing. I was crying. I was telling God, what are these guys saying? They are saying you don't exist, but you do. I know you do. But then who's right? Who's wrong? What is happening? And I need proof. You need to tell me right now that you exist. So I said, you have to prove now. It's on you. You want to keep this faith in me going? Then you got to prove me right. And at the time, and even now, I have this, when I get hiccups, I need to have sugar and water to make it go away. And my phone's battery is going down, so I'm just going to start charging it. All right. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. So this is, I was talking about the hiccups. So I started getting hiccups, and it'll never go away until I have sugar and water. That's the only cure for my hiccups to go away. Well, while I was crying, I started getting these hiccups. And I told God, I am not going to have sugar today. I'm going to sit here in my hiccups, and you need to make it go away. And you need to make it go away as soon as I take your name. So as soon as I took the name, I didn't even finish the name, and the hiccups were gone. And I started crying even more because I now tested God, and he gave me proof that he was there. And since that day onwards, the faith was just solid. After that, life happened, lot of good things and lot of bad things as well, as with everybody, life was not kind at the time. And again, it was just a reflection of my own awareness, I guess, and that's what was showing up. And so this, let's fast forward to like 30 years after that. What happened 2 months ago is that a huge life change was happening, and in which my soulmate, my life partner, had to move back to the UK, migrate back to the UK, and I was here in Australia, and for work, of course. And that was a huge turning point in our lives where I wasn't so sure if I want to move with him. I'm 50 now, and at this age, do I want to restart my life? What do I do? I was full of doubts, fear, because I have always been a planner, I have been an organizer, and I need to see ahead what is happening, and it was extremely dark for me. So I kind of decided that I will not go, and maybe that's for the best. But we were still in this gray area of we didn't know whether we will be together or not. And so to get rid of that confusion, I had to be one way or other. I can't be in the middle. So I had to decide something, because waiting for that long for something to happen, it's just very confusing. So I made a decision that I will stay. I had to be somewhere for me to take the next decision. So I said I'm going to stay. I'm not going to come. And it was not a solid final decision that we are going to end this relationship, but it was kind of like in the moment, this is what it has to be. In the moment, we will see what happens, but we were both not hopeful, right? So that happened, that life change happened, and he left, and I was here by myself, and it had to be done, job, career, life choices. It's very hard. But that was the time I was shattered, and I did not tell anyone. I was shattered. I was devastated. So let me now explain how that passage looked for me. I would spend days on that couch right there and not move. It was days. It was days that I just sat there into nothingness. There was so much vacuum inside. The whole world did not exist. I disconnected from everybody, from my parents, from my friends. I would call a few people thinking that they can console me. But once again, after hanging up the phone, I would just be with myself. And I was lost. I felt like I was in a dark tunnel, and that it was pitch dark. I cannot see anything. I cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. I was in this passage of darkness, and I was very scared. All my old self was dying, as if I could see myself disintegrating. Like I was constantly asking myself, who am I, right? I tried to give meaning to that experience, thinking, oh, it's because I am now not with my partner. So I wanted to give it some sort of a logical meaning, some sort of a worldly meaning, that maybe it's that, because I could not understand. But then I very quickly figured out that it wasn't that. It wasn't the fact that my partner left, or I am not with him, or I miss him. It wasn't that. Because a part of me knew that I'm going to be with him at one point. It's just situational that right now it looks this, but it wasn't that kind of a depression where it wasn't separation, it was not a breakup. So it was none of that. So I could quickly figure out that that's not the right reason for what is happening. So then what is happening to me? Why am I crying endlessly as if I am dying, as if I am being murdered? The pain I used to feel, oh my goodness, It lasted weeks. My headache, my migraine, and my shoulder, my back. I was exploding every day with pain. I used to take painkillers like every 3 hours. Panadol, Nurofen, nothing was relieving the pain. And I would cry, cry, cry so much. And then after I would release that, it'll go away. And then I was not crying anymore, but I was still in that passage of darkness, still lost, confused, and it was like I was possessed, you know. And I didn't even know if God was there or not with me. I felt very alone in there. And then I decided that I have to just let go now. I just have to let whatever is happening to me, I have to let it happen. And at that point, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of an almighty, a higher power, a good energy. And something inside me was now calming down, soothing down. And I felt like he was holding my hand. And he said, just follow me. Just walk with me. Take one step at a time. One day at a time. I promise you there is light at the end of this tunnel. I got you. I got you. I am getting goosebumps talking about this. He said, I got you. Let's go. Don't just sit here. Don't just sit in this place. You got to move. I'm with you. I will walk with you. When you're tired, I will hold you. I will never let you go. I had that strange, like I could depend on this energy that was with me. And then I took the first step. I got out of the couch. I got up. The first thing I did, I think, was wash my face, change my clothes, look at myself in the mirror. I had stopped looking at myself in the mirror. I changed my physical appearance a little bit. I started looking outside the window. I could now connect back with the world. Like I could see the sun is rising. Like I became a little bit observant of my surroundings because I was so in my head and so much in that dark place that that happened. So slowly I took one day at a time, and then after that a very quick progression happened. A very quick changes were happening, like this elation of energy inside, as if everything was releasing, everything was getting washed away. The old self was getting washed away, the new self was born, like being born inside. It was like a huge surge of energy inside, and my heart felt very light, and it was almost exploding with hope, with excitement, with joy. I cannot express what it was. But then at that time, so many things came to me. I wasn't looking anywhere. All I was doing in that time is I was taking a lot of time off work. I gave myself the grace, I gave myself the time that I needed. That I did. I took real good care of me. When I felt like sleeping, I slept. I did not judge myself. I did not judge myself. If I had to sleep for days, I would. If I had to go walking for an hour, I would. Wherever this flow was taking me, I was just doing as told. So I was doing that. And at the same time, a few months back, I came across Louis Huckstep, and he's he teaches about the life inspiring method and healing process about traumas and things like that. So suddenly, that information became relevant to me. It was somewhere in the background, but now it became relevant. I'm like, yes, I need to work on myself. And I became this scientist who went in to now see where I needed improvements. And I was discovering myself. Who am I? Who am I? And as I kept questioning this, who am I? The old I was getting murdered. With every question, a new I would come about, and the old I would be dying, you know. So I did so much inner work, I can't tell you. My journal, the way I wrote, 3 hours in the morning, I would constantly, like, not time myself, but it would become 3 hours. I had not, I did not make any routines because I was always a routine person. I was very strict on myself, and therefore I was strict on people around me. I was very disciplined. I just let everything go. And then I would journal and journal about finding who am I, why am I doing this. So if I felt an emotion, I would write down what that emotion was, where is it coming from, what happened in the childhood. Like, I had a perfectly fine, healthy childhood. Then where is this coming from? Like, I kept going deeper and deeper. And of course, you need to know how to do it. So healing is very important. And as I kept on cleaning these layers and after layer of me, then I stumbled upon this entire I am awareness. And that kind of stopped the seeking completely, you know. That completely stopped the seeking, because I thought, after this, there is nothing else to know. There is nothing remains. Because if I am that I am and that God is within me, that's it then, you know. And then, of course, I had to understand how I am works, how awareness works, and it was all making sense. The dots were all now, lining up. And I could see the complete story now. So it was a beautiful journey. The disintegration, many people may call it depression. It wasn't depression. It was beyond that. It wasn't even sadness is a small thing. It was like, literally, I was being murdered, and none of the worldly meaning I tried to give it to make some sense wasn't right. It wasn't that. Like, my partner and I are in a beautiful relationship even now, and I will be migrating at some point, because so it wasn't even that. What happened had to happen. And then it all made sense why God did this. I wanted to do this. Like I said, when I was in year 8, and I had that experience where I tested God and He gave me evidence. From that day onwards, I actually prayed something. It was dangerous. It was dangerous to ask God for something like that. No wonder my life turned around like this, because I had to have the experience so that now I can share it with the world. And I asked this from God. I said, this book says you are not there. A lot of people are reading this book now. A lot of people have formed a belief that you don't exist. I can't let that happen. So I became so desperate to now show the world that He exists. I prayed to God that, please God, use me, use my body, use my mind, make my life such that I can show the world that you exist. Rest is history. 30 years, ups and downs, so many ups and downs. But finally, it all makes sense. You know, I now go to the church. Today was day 2 of going to the church. You know, the first time I went, coincidentally, it was the day of the Pentecost, and I had no idea to Google what Pentecost is. And there was a huge experience in that church on that Sunday. And tears just flowed. And they said that when the Holy Spirit enters your body and you get this calling. I got a calling as if it was my life's purpose now. Everything made sense. My childhood made sense. You know, that prayer was now being heard. That as if God is telling me that you are now ready. I'm getting goosebumps. Sorry guys for the interruption again. So that was my story, my experience of going through the dark passage. The more I read about the death of the ego and the death of the dark night of the soul, and read about the symptoms that happens, I could relate to those symptoms. So I can't be very sure if it was that. If you have had experience of this kind, please leave comments below and tell me that I'm not going crazy, and so I can feel that I'm not alone who experienced this. So, and then how did you handle it? What happened after? Did you find what you were looking for? Did you, just your experience. If you want to share that, please feel free to do so. And if you want to work with me, I do that now. So I take one-on-one consultation. I coach on healing techniques and healing processes, finding your I amness, and telling you that you are the technique, you know, and to show you the mirror who you are. So if you want to work with me, the link is in the description. But for now, I will sign out of this video. I cannot wait to see your godliness and I amness shine. Bye bye.